3 a.m. I push the door open. The apartment is dead silent. The AC is blasting, so cold inside it feels like a freezer. I drop my suitcase, the wheels scrape harshly across the wooden floor. The bed in the bedroom is perfectly made. The blanket is neatly folded. The pillows aren't even dented. That's the trace she left behind. I look at the closet. Her pajamas are gone. Her toiletry bag is gone. I take out my phone. 3:05 a.m. On WeChat, our last message sits there from a week ago. I sent her my flight details. She never replied. I step out into the hallway. Quiet. A sliver of light leaks from a door on the 4th floor, spilling across the hallway carpet. Mark lives in 402, the new neighbor who moved in last month. A fitness trainer, broad shoulders, muscles, always in a tight t-shirt. The way he looked at Sarah was like he was staring at a juicy steak. 3 days ago, the building lost power. The whole place went dark. The elevators stopped. Complaints echoed through the halls. I was packing for a trip to Chicago when Mark knocked on my door. He had an emergency lantern in his hand, the beam shaking and blinding. "Jack, you don't have power either, right?" Mark's voice was loud, impossible to read. Sarah stood behind me. She was wearing that white silk robe. "No power downstairs either," I said. "Come upstairs," Mark said, smiling at Sarah. "I've got backup power and some red wine. A bunch of people are hanging out, trying to stay cool." Sarah looked at me. Her expression was flat. No hesitation. "Go ahead," I said. "I've got to finish packing anyway. I'll be leaving soon." She turned and followed Mark upstairs. That night I got busy handling company data. I thought she'd come back after a while. The power grid was fixed by midnight. The streetlights came back on, the hallway lights flickered to life, and every apartment hummed again. But she never knocked on the door. I stare at the handle of my suitcase. It's morning now. I cancelled my trip to London and rushed home early. I wanted to surprise her. Instead, I gave myself a lesson. I stand in front of 402. My palms are cold with sweat. I raise my hand and knock. No sound. I knock again. The door opens. Mark stands there shirtless, a towel wrapped around his waist. There's a scratch across his chest, fresh, red at the edges. I shove him hard. He slams into the doorframe, stumbling. The living room is a mess. A bottle of red wine lies on the floor, dark liquid soaking into the carpet like a giant bruise. The air is thick with cheap perfume and musk. Sarah is sitting on the couch. She's still wearing that white silk robe. It's slipped to one side now, exposing half her shoulder. Her hair is messy, her eyes hazy. She's holding half a glass of wine and looks up at me. She doesn't panic. Doesn't scream. She just smiles. "You're back," she says. Calm, like she's commenting on the weather. I look around. On the table sits the watch I gave her. She wore it for 3 years. Now it's lying there alone beside an ashtray. The elevator dings. It's the cleaning lady from the building and Mrs. Miller from 301. They're carrying trash bags, heading downstairs. The elevator doors open. They see everything. I step into the doorway, blocking their view. "Get out," I tell Mark. Mark shrugs, picks up his clothes from the floor, and walks into the bedroom. He shuts the door. I look at Sarah. She slowly stands up and straightens her robe. She doesn't even glance at me as she walks toward the door. She passes me, her heels clicking across the floor. In the hallway, the neighbors have stopped to watch. Mrs. Miller stares at Sarah's neck. Several red love bites stand out, impossible to miss. Sarah reaches the elevator and presses the down button. She turns and looks at me. "We're done," she says. "You can keep the place." The elevator doors open. She steps inside. The doors close. I stand in the hallway. Silence all around. Mrs. Miller hasn't left. She's looking at me with open mockery in her eyes. The cleaning lady picks up a tissue from the floor and shakes her head. Everyone in the building heard it. They all know what she did upstairs all night. I go back to 302. I close the door. I pick up my suitcase and walk out again. I don't need the apartment. I don't need explanations. I step into the elevator and press the ground floor. As it descends, the numbers tick down one by one. Each one feels like it's laughing at my stupidity. I walk out of the building. The sunlight is blinding. Morning in Los Angeles, cars everywhere, the streets already alive. No one knows me. No one knows that a few minutes ago I lost everything. I toss the keys into a trash can. I get into the car and start the engine. I don't look back. From now on, everyone in that building, every neighbor who passes by, everyone who saw that moment, will remember who Sarah is. They'll remember that night she spent upstairs in Mark's room. This wasn't just cheating. It was a public execution. I pressed the gas. The tires splashed through a puddle at the curb, spraying muddy water. It's over. Next stop, a new life.